My name is Ann Switzer. This is Ann, music spotlight. Today I am here with Nick Teale, a singer-songwriter from Louisville, Kentucky. Hi Nick, how you doing?
I'm doing wonderful, Anne. It's wonderful to see you again. How's everything on your end?
Not much. Uh, I would like to ask you a few questions about your music. Um, what are some uh, estimates you play?
All right, absolutely. The main instrument that I play is the guitar. That's the one that I usually do uh, all my shows with. Occasionally, I'll bring some others as well. When I actually started branching out into other instruments in high school. I learned how to play the sitar, which, if you're familiar with the Beatles, that's the one that
Yeah,
George
I do.
Harrison, yeah, that's the one he got majorly into. And then I was also really into Japanese culture in high school. So I got into this Japanese stringed instrument called a shamisen. That was a lot of fun. Um, and then after I got to college, I started getting into Middle Eastern culture and Middle Eastern music a lot more. And I learned how to play the oud, which is sort of an Arabic, Turkish, Persian relative of the guitar.
Nice.
Mhm.
Do you have a favorite estimate?
Uh, so I guess, yeah, that's definitely a hard question to answer. I'd say, I mean, most of the time I end up playing the guitar, but if I had to pick a favorite instrument, I would probably say, I'd probably say it's this one. It's a Turkish instrument called a saz or a balama. Let me see. This is probably a bit out of tune. Definitely a bit out of tune. But this is actually a Turkish instrument that I learned to play when I was at UT Austin and then when I was in Istanbul. And I think it's really cool because, you've got the different spacings. I mean, you can see the frets here, right?
Yeah.
All right, brilliant. Yeah, you can kind of see the frets. I don't know how familiar you are with like Middle Eastern music, but they kind of have some of the quarter tones, right?
Yeah.
The uneven spacing of the frets is kind of a way to get that different intonation that you hear in a lot of Turkish and other Middle Eastern music. And the weird thing is, of course, I've learned a lot of the traditional Turkish songs on it, but it also ends up being really well suited to classic rock and metal. And I've kind of incorporated it into some of my stuff for that reason.
My next question is about the style of music. If I some is on louder, some are quieter. There are a lot there are a lot of those styles. Have you always played all different kind of music?
Absolutely. I've been exposed to a lot of different music from a younger age. My dad was into a lot of different stuff. He was into classical with Handel. He really liked Pat Metheny, the jazz guitarist. He got me into punk rock with The Clash. Uh, and he was also really into Lucinda Williams, who's kind of more of a modern country artist. So yeah, that he kind of went all over the place in that regard. And so back when I was in middle school and early high school, I did kind of cordon myself off to being a classic rock guy. especially with like Leonard Skinner and Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, I heard them.
Oh yeah, really cool stuff I think they did. Um, but then after I uh started getting further into high school, I rediscovered a lot of the music that my parents were into. Uh, and from there, I ended up getting into a lot of prog rock, jazz fusion. When I went to learn guitar, because I took guitar lessons in high school, my teacher was actually a jazz instructor, Craig Wagner. So yeah, he got me into a lot of really cool stuff.
The first one I heard of yours was Angel Wings. It's a Chris song. What inspired you to write that song?
So a huge part of what inspired me to write that song was being exposed through a lot of different uh, through family members and other friends of mine. I've been exposed to a lot of different recovery programs. And, usually it's recovery from alcoholism or other forms of addiction. And I personally don't do a whole lot of that. I avoid drinking, I avoid smoking or doing any other kinds of drugs. And a lot of people are really surprised in the music scene when they hear that because uh I go around a lot of the jam band scene especially, and they're all about doing those kinds of substances. They're all thinking, "Oh my gosh, you don't do any of that. You're such an angel." And of course, on one hand, I'm definitely flattered by that, but on the other hand, I feel like that ends up being a dangerous thing to think insofar as it puts the blame for addiction on the person and doesn't take into account what other factors might contribute to it, especially growing up in poverty and maybe not seeing another way out. And that's basically what inspired me to write Angel Wings. It's from the perspective of someone who might not have had all those advantages growing up.
Won't someone buy me a pair of angel wings to sail right over these cold and stormy seas? Feels like I'm drowning in an amber wave of grain. Well, I'm trying not to drink it, but it's all that numbs the pain. My friend above me, he flies on angel wings. His daddy bought them when he was just 18. Well, he looks down on me as I struggle just to swim. He'll never understand the state that I'm in. And I don't want no townhouse, no Mercedes Benz. Just give me something to help me reach the end. And I don't give a damn about material things, but I want somebody by me, a pair of angel wings. All right, go for it.
Yes. I saw you perform at the Southwest Library. Uh, in Louisville. You play solo there. I hear you playing with a band. Now too. Would like to play solo and also for the band.
So yeah, a lot of it ends up really the two sides end up kind of complementing each other in a way. Um, One of the big reasons that I started out solo was because it was so difficult getting bandmates together, especially when you do the kind of music that I end up doing, which I end up using a lot of really complicated chord progressions and songwriting techniques that uh you know uh not everyone can often understand or follow. And so that could be a difficult that can make it difficult to keep people together in a band. And then of course the other issue is a lot of times people have a whole lot of other things going on. They'll have kids, they'll have jobs. I almost got into a band when I was in Austin, and then I got a scholarship to go to Tajikistan. And so I'm thinking, okay, well, I guess I have to put that on hold essentially. But yeah, a lot of people have different, uh, I mean, it involves juggling a lot of different schedules. So finally getting into a band, you know, a lot of it's going to be about deciding what do I want this band to be versus also letting the rest of the band members shine, because you want to make sure that it's not just a solo project. Everyone's getting their own input. And it could be difficult to manage because everyone has their idea of how they want the band to run. And you don't want to monopolize anything because people start to get frustrated with that. I mean, that's essentially why Creedence Clearwater Revival, for instance, broke up, because they felt that John Fogerty was becoming kind of a dictator.
What do you think it means to be successful in music or in life?
Well, I think from my perspective, it mostly has to do with making the kind of music and art are that you enjoy making, and then ideally the rest of the what we call success, notoriety, maybe even money, ideally that ends up following after. Uh, of course, you have to have some sort of base in order to pursue that, but ideally, I think if you're just chasing notoriety or money, that's not necessarily going to lead to success. And especially because in our industry, there are a lot of people who want to capitalize on those kinds of dreams. Like they'll seek out people who are super eager to get into any kind of record label contract that they possibly can because they've heard that's the way to make it in the industry, not realizing that essentially what the record label is going to give you is they're not going to pay you anything. They're going to give you a loan, and they're going to collect on that loan if what you're doing doesn't end up panning out. So I guess what I'm saying is if you end up prioritizing the pursuit of money and fame, and you don't focus on the things that really matter, you can find yourself in a really negative situation further down the road. With my website, which is www.tealappeal.com, essentially the whole rationale behind the Teal Appeal brand is, you know, when we talk about success in terms of music, a lot of it has to do with tickets sold, how many Grammys you've won. But I keep thinking, what if we measured it instead by how many people you can inspire and support in your community, and how you can use music to help people develop into the most authentic versions of themselves. I know Aaron mentioned my song Drive You Home. That was actually about a very close friend of mine who had just gotten out of a really toxic relationship, actually a really toxic marriage, and was trying to get into another relationship with me. And I think that that presents an opportunity for me to examine through music, how do I how do I communicate this in song and turn this into something that shows how you can love someone without being romantically attached to them, and how you can care for someone in a way that isn't just going to be about serving your own interests. And that was a major inspiration for Drive You Home.
Your breath when we kiss smells of Jack and Coke, just like my mother used to make. I swear I won't judge for the path you chose, it's just more than I can take. So let's settle up your tab, I'll help you through the door. Though I could give you what you want, we both know you need more. When you're worn and weary, torn and teary, feeling that it's all in vain, I can't be your man, but I'll hold your hand till you sober up again. When life's cold and steely, hold on near me, I won't let you be alone. I can't take you all the way, but I can drive you home. Obligations, expectations, breed contempt, they'll just weigh you down. So let me be your friend.
Nice. What song or podcast do you have coming up?
All right, so I did mention Drive You Home. That's actually going to release as a single alongside my next album, which is called Glitter Fingers. Uh, and so that's going to release toward the end of August.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm super excited about that one. I've got two more singles releasing before that as well. I've got toward the end of June, I've got Big Screen TV. That's sort of a folkier, more Americana song that I've got coming up. Uh, and then sometime in July, I'm going to be releasing more of an indie rock song that I wrote called Karaoke Queen, which is about falling in love at a karaoke bar. So yeah, that's more or less what I've got coming up.
Nice. Thank you for talking with me about your music. I would like to feature a one more song. Uh, I Hear You. You have a third song. You are in yourselves. Can you tell me about it?
All right, absolutely. So, and this will also be a good time to shout out Katie Did It, who also runs the open mic scene in Louisville. She does Wednesdays at Diorio's and Thursdays at Flanagan's. It's a lot of fun, and if you're in the Kentucky music scene, definitely go check it out. But I started going to a lot of her open mics, and she's been really supportive to all the artists in the area and trying to encourage them to develop as artists. And I think it was like 1 or 2 months after I wrote that is when I started drifting more toward the Americana sound. And I ended up writing this song, which is called Water Ski. And she'd enjoyed a lot of the songs that I'd written before I wrote that song. But once she heard that one, she really loved it and she wanted me to end every open mic with it. So it kind of became the national anthem of her open mics almost. Uh,
Wow.
But yeah, Water Ski is the song, and that's on Spotify if y'all want to check it out.
Yeah, true. Okay.
You know I gotta end on this one, so let's go for it. Sing along if you know it. You and me together on the shore, heading out to face the ocean's roar. You can't understand why I love you still, but every moment with you is a thrill. You say you feel guilty of stringing me along. As long as we're happy, you know I don't see nothing wrong. So let me take a ride on your water ski, all alone on the ocean, baby, you and me. Darling, I'll hold on loosely, I'll follow you across the blue sea. Never let it go till you tell me to. No telling what together you and I could do. Darling, I got to tell you, from the I saw you, I knew we were meant to be together, and that's how it's gotta be. Don't you let me take a ride on your water ski.
This has been Ann's Music Spotlight. Today's spotlight is with Nick Teale, from Louisville, Kentucky. To find more of Nick's music, you can go to teappeal.com. My name is Ekaja, and thank you for listening.
All right, brilliant. Thank you so much, Ann. It's been a real pleasure.
No problem.